What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? What is up? Little cigar talk live. I used to do the truck talks, as you guys know, um, a while ago. And if you're here in the chat, go ahead and comment. I'm going to get my cigar started up. Today's stick, I've been smoking these for a little bit, and I've really enjoyed them. I'm kind of discerning when it comes to cigars. I'm not pretentious in any way, though. I do love a Padron. Uh, Padron's probably my favorite. David Off these are unbelievable sticks if you get them. They're worth the money. They're worth it to at least experience if you're into cigars at all. But Padron, what's up, Abel? What's up, guys? Comment in the chat if you're here. But I'm smoking an Aging Room, Connecticut, right here. Good little stick. Good little stick. Anything by the Aging Room, man. I've never gone wrong, and they're not crazy priced. So if you're gonna try a stick or try a cigar, and they got the Aging Room there, you're in good hands. My favorites are the Quattros from Aging Room. Normally, I smoke My Father cigars or Padrones. I got a whole humidor of Padrones, but Padrones will be my daily driver coming up. The 1926 is kind of my favorite. What's up? What's up? They will be my favorite, but right now we're in the Aging Room or the Jaime Garcia because I smoke a lot of cigars. It starts to become one of those things. You know what I mean? It's an allotment every month, right? That I have. It's one of the things that I really enjoy it. I find that I'm able to think and I have better ideas. Cody and I always talk about this when we smoke cigars, we make more money because a lot of the things that you guys have seen come out of Skunk Washworks in the last year or two, including the Batch Buster or Super Pump, Monumental, Oxnox, any of this stuff that you guys have seen, the stuff that's really kind of breaking the industry internet, if you will, all of that's been done smoking cigars and all the thinking process, at least. Now, look, I don't really quit smoking. I don't have like an off time. I really love to smoke. Cody will smoke a stick and then he'll go drink a rehab. You know what I mean? For me, I like to smoke all the time. It's one of my favorite things to do. I get it. Guys want to give me advice on not smoking, but that's never going to not happen. What's up, guys? If you're in the chat, comment. If you got any questions about anything I'm good at, which is marketing, innovations, who would have thought? Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it? There's a lot coming down the pipe still. Like, y'all can't even believe that. I remember 2 years ago, I was teasing the Batch Buster. And I was saying, there's something coming. There's something coming. And sure enough, it came. And it is, it has created massive waves because of its capability and its accuracy when it comes to dealing with high flow systems. But it has also created waves because of the personalities behind it. You see, I think a lot of people, when it comes to me making something, because I'm rather outspoken, right? I don't cut for anyone. I literally do not care if every subscriber unsubscribes from this channel today. Aaron is going to be the same person today and tomorrow as he was yesterday. As far as my outlook on work, as far as my outlook on personal responsibility, as far as my outlook on my duty to my family and my duty to win. I'm just very, very cut and dry with that. Always have been. Well, I can't say that I've always been that way. I grew up in the South, so it's a little softer down there than you might think when it comes to how people are unwilling to say it like it is. There's certain parts of the Midwest and maybe even in certain parts of Texas still, but Southeastern Conference, a lot of them older folks, they're not going to tell you like it is. They're going to bless your heart. And see, so I brought a little bit of that, I don't know, asshole back to the process. That's what you want to call it that. But to me, I think it's called telling the truth, speaking the uncomfortable truth of the environment that we're in. Because one thing I have learned is if you're willing to tell that, you're willing to say that, willing to get that out on the table, yes, a lot of people will not like you, but for no other reason, just because you say what the truth is. And a lot of people don't want to hear the truth. Most people don't, aka put on a mask 2020. Like they literally through the whole thing told you what was going on. And people like me, I told them, I told everybody I knew, I said, this is exactly how they're going to run this propaganda. They did it to a T. Now, a lot of my family didn't bite, but a lot of the people here in Nashville, because it's a little more left leaning, they ran them through the whole process exactly how I told them to do it. I said, and at the end of it, and this was long before it, I said, they're going to get you to stick yourself with something. I said, watch. Sure enough, I was right, because you got to have it. You got to have it, right? It's like, but a lot of people, they don't appreciate you saying that. They don't. Well, guess what? I'm that motherfucker. Okay. I'm that guy. Always have been, always going to be that way. And if that reflects on how people absorb my info or they don't want that, here's the thing, what you're going to know at the end of the day. Aaron told you the truth when it was uncomfortable to say it. And not for any other reason, not for a reason to hurt you. That's not it. I just have learned because of the trials and tribulations that I've personally been through, which probably not as bad as other people and probably worse than some, is that hiding behind the mist and the fog of the comfortable peace in the moment, the thing that is left unsaid will ruin relationships. It will ruin marriages. It will ruin your whole existence as you know it, all because you were fearful on saying it. I've had closer relationships in the past 5 years from adopting this type of mentality than I ever had you know, 30 years prior to that. Right. So I'm going to run with this. And I think that maybe you shouldn't adopt my complete way of doing things, but maybe you should lean a little more that way because the clarity of what we're doing, of who we are in this moment, where we're going, what's the direction of this ship? Where is it pointed? Okay. That's the one thing your family needs right now. That's the one thing people close to you need. Some of y'all got little family members living in your mom's house. Okay. And you've talked to your mom about it, your parents. Why are they still living here? Parents ain't got it in them to get them out of there. Y'all got little cousins and stuff wanting to leech. I know. I'm hitting some of y'all right now. It ain't too far away. See, they want to leech, and you've talked to them about it, and they just gonna let them leech. But you know what? Somebody like you has got to be the person who's the asshole. Why? Because sometimes the people you love will let someone leech off of them and kill them slowly. They just will let them. It's mind-blowing. I actually cannot understand it. I cannot understand it. First take. That's a good stick, man. Great, easy pull. Good smoke. This should not be, it should not be a $10 stick. It doesn't have the same flavor as a Padron, but it pulls gentle, has good smoke like a Padron. It's a good stick. Now, coming up, y'all probably see me smoking the Quattros. They have an orange label. Same company, orange label. What we got here? What is up? What is up? What is up? See, James had to kick my brother to the curb several years ago for his BS living, man. And it's like you didn't want to do that. It's not something you want to do, man. But who's going to do it? Who is going to do it? Are we going to? And look, I get it. Listen here. I get this. Sometimes you got to give people grace. And there's a little leeway period, right? There's a period of leeway. Sometimes people take a minute to get back on their feet. You got to be objective, right? You got to let people sort their life out because everybody gotten hit by a right hook before in life, got knocked down for the 8 count. Okay. But as James is noticing, see, as James is noticing, there's a time when a conversation needs to be had. Please do this for yourself, do this for your family. And I tell you, dude, like Mike Vadan stole my daggum title as the most hated man in the pressure washing industry a while back. And I told Mike, I said, I ain't too happy about you taking my title because that's my title. That's my title. I'm the one who says it like it is. Mike comes through, puts out 150 videos, takes my title for a second. I said, well, I'm gonna have to do some lives and regain my most hated title, by God. And one thing is true, man. I ain't hated on no other reason but because I say it like it is and it's rather uncomfortable. And here's the thing at the end of the day. Handle your business. Even my son, who's 9 years old, he knows that. He knows discipline equals love. Because if I didn't care about you, I wouldn't say anything. If I didn't care, I wouldn't say shit. If I didn't genuinely want better for you, then what's the point? So maybe you ought to start looking at the people who don't say anything to you a little differently. Maybe you should start asking them, don't you love me? You never told me this. Maybe true love, real love, is somebody who will cut you a little bit. That's what I found. I learned that probably 8th, 9th grade when I started getting around really good coaches in football. They'd tell your ass like it is. And then they would tell you why they say that. Because we're lifting everybody up. I'm going to ride you all summer. I'm going to holler at you. I'm going to run you down. You're going to run if you mess up. You're going to pay for it. Everybody's going to pay for it. Right? There was this accountability. I think high school football, if you have a good coach, does a lot for a lot of young boys. If you got a good coach who will finally hold you to your lying ass bullshit. Finally, man. It's the best thing ever. It truly is. But I still notice that guys, in our industry at least, because this is the only world that I have a channel or kind of a finger on the pulse, is that they don't like it. They'll squirm. They'll call you any sort of name. They'll trash what you've created. They're very feminine. Very feminine. It's all to never look at themselves in the mirror. Never. It can't be them who is wrong. It has to be you. So it's very interesting. It's one of the things, I've talked to the guys about this a lot. Is like, why is it so effeminate? We don't have many women. I think I got Ashley. Ashley's killer, dude. She's better than most of the men I know in this industry. But it's like, we don't have very many women. She's aware of that. But it's like, why does it have a tendency to lean towards that dramatic, effeminate gossip type of thing? What is that? I know what it is. It's childlike. It is that way. Handle your business. Okay. Get your shit in order, man. Take it upon yourself. Some of you boys still cashing in on that Harbor Freight deal while you listening to me. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know. Who were you teaching? Because you ain't going to teach me. Because I don't even know. I can't be there with you. You know you're teaching? That little boy in the car sitting next to you. See? You daddy. He's looking at daddy. Don't teach your boy to be cheap. Teach your boy being cheap is expensive. Bring him up. Don't bring him down. Don't teach him how to buy used tires. Teach him we buy new trucks. Why? Because daddy's buying a new truck. Because money is plentiful. Teach him about abundance. My camera might go dead. It's not going to go dead. It just overheat because I've been running for hours at this point. So if it does, I'll just switch over to the other cam. 3K before lunch, baby. Half power. He said, I think I'll take the rest of the day off. Got that nice, what's that? They got a Gen 2 skid, man. Gen 2 Southeast Soft Wash skid. Shout out. Half power concrete. Simplify. Simplified crawfish code down in the bayou. I appreciate that, dude. Dude works his ass off. Well, they don't, you see, James, they don't hate you. But the big thing is you got to explain to them is you're doing it because you love them. That's something you have to articulate. Okay. You can't keep, here's my advice. Don't lean into, well, he deserves it. Don't do that. You got to look, I love him. I love my brother so much that I am willing to tell him this has got to change. And you don't love him if you are unwilling. Well, they might. See? I don't know. I don't know the situation. But I know that I have to articulate myself that way because a lot of times tough love sounds like you don't like nobody. And that ain't the case. That's not the case. But then again, I'm not worried about losing anybody. If they didn't like me, good. I don't want to go to the damn family reunion anyway. I don't want to tell you. What are we going to do? I'm going to tell you that's one thing going through a 6-year divorce will teach you, because you lose all your friends in the process, or 98% of them. You lose everybody who was on the peripheral. I will tell you that. But you make new friends too. You become a different person. There was 2 years when I couldn't even see my son. Okay. The state wanted to keep him. They wanted to accuse me of all these things. The state, after 2 years of me going to hearings and being judged and paying probably $200,000, probably $100,000 worth of time and attorney's fees. Eventually, at the end of the day, you know what the state did? After all that, they dropped the case. But you know what they found out about AP? AP's hard to kill. I'm telling you, I'm hard, bro. I'm hard to kill. You're going to have to bring the whole team. They all going to have to be strapped up. I'm telling you. You know why? Because my attorney sat there and told the state, if they want to keep playing this bullshit, Aaron will take you to the Supreme Court. I'll take it all the way to the top, baby. I'm here to make a spectacle. I'll spend the money. Don't play with me. I'm not one to play with. Money ain't a thing. Money ain't like that. I don't care about the money. I'm going to make a spectacle. I'm going to make an example. I'm going to impale every one of you and put your body on pikes by the river so the rest of the sumbitches who drive by here get to see. I'll bring the film crews as well. We're going to take it all the way to the top. You know what the state said? I'll be damned. Well, I don't think we have anything left. Yeah. Problem is, it took them 2 years, man. Took them 2 years to figure that out. So I get it, man. Some of you guys going through some shit. Believe me. Some of you guys been through some shit. I get it. Some of you guys been through war. I get it, dude. I've never been through war, but I've been through traumatic experiences. Everybody's been through something, right? Um, dude, that's it, punks. I live under a bridge, bro. I lived in the van for a while. And that's okay. Hey, that's all right, man. I knew that it was going to be part of the story. All right. Some of you guys need to know that maybe the tough situation you're in right now is part of the story. That's a reassuring thing that can give you some hope. Because I will tell you, man, listen, if you're willing to educate yourself. I'm going to an event next week. $1,000, another 1,000. I'm gonna go learn, man. I spent 10,000 3 weeks ago just to learn. See, like I'm learning, man. These are all courses and masterminds and things. I've spent probably 11 this month. Why? But I know the ROAS, I know the return on investment is coming. See, I already know because this is stuff I need to know and I don't know it. And I'm aware that I am lacking in this department. All right. But that's a congrats, James. So figure out where you're lacking. That's the big hard conversation. A lot of guys don't want to invest in training, knowledge. I mean, look, being honest, all the stuff that we train on, super underpriced. Guy goes out and makes, Hoff Power went out and made $3,000 before lunch today. Well, hell, the damn how to wash course is what, $400? No, but you'd be amazed at how other guys want to say, well, that's too expensive. No, it's not. It's a race to the bottom. The problem is poverty mindset. That's the problem with the South and with the country bumpkin where I grew up. It's impoverished mindset. We're going to live in a single wide and there's prices are going up. Tickets are going down. It's always sinking. Everybody thinks everybody's sinking. Made $1,200 yesterday before lunch. See? There's money to be made. There's money everywhere. And you have to train yourself to think this way. It's hard when you don't have it. You feel like you're faking it. You feel like you're living in delusion land, but you're not. Everyone else is just stupid. Okay? Because the people you grew up with are probably stupid. I promise, dude, I'm just telling you. I know. Why? Because I got them. I got them in my family. I love them, but they're dumb. See? You need to know that. So what they say to you is void. Don't listen to a word they say beyond their lawnmower broken or whatever, football team they're talking about. Okay? Because if you talk about investing in yourself, they're going to shut that down quick. They think that's a scam. That is a scam. Is it? I don't know. Dude, I mean, really? How many success stories you need to see? I mean, how much money do I invest in myself every month? A lot. See? What's up, Wu 10? Wash right. Now, just, hey, dude, here's what I urge you to do. He said, I took the how to wash and thought it was expensive when he first bought it, but it changed his business. But here's the thing, right? Wash right. Go and take that knowledge, go make a shitload of money with it. Okay. But then don't forget this. Go invest in another thing. It doesn't even have to be ours. Go invest in something else, somewhere else, some financial literacy, right? I got some guys who are amazing at tax strategy that I'm not That's not my wheelhouse, man. I'm a marketing guy. All right. They're amazing at tax strategy. I know nothing about this. You know how much I'll pay them? How much do I need to? Do I give it to Joe Biden or do I give it to these guys to learn maybe how to keep some of that money? Of course. See, give it to them. I don't own any tax strategy courses. Okay. But I suggest you find somebody who has one and buy it from them. Buy it, learn, get better. Dude, 3 years ago, bought the 0 to 7K, man. Well, James, I'm surprised you're still here and you're still you still like me. Because most people they get tired of hearing me say the hard truth, I think. Which is fine because I invent products now and it doesn't really matter. There's my products are being sold all around the globe. So whatever, like, but at the end of the day, I'm that way with those things too. Do you know how hard I am on those products? You know how many years it takes to develop just one of the things that you guys see? You know how long I have to hold my tongue, right? James going to get the how to wash course. Get it, dude. It's 6 hours of content. It's all consolidated. Here's the value of a lot of this, of a lot of courses that you're ever going to purchase. It's consolidated, concise knowledge in one place that you can revisit over and over again. The organization alone is worth the money because it's not all this other peripheral nonsense and hours and hours and hours of watching video elsewhere of stuff you don't need. You have it all right there in one place. So whatever course you buy in the world, even if it's a tax strategy course, the good thing is it's all here in one spot. It's in order. It's not skewed across the internet because a million people have a million different ways of doing something. I need to know the one way that works, that's proven by guys who've been doing it for a long time. Implement it. Thank you, Hoff Power, dude. Hey, we appreciate that. It was worth the money. He said, see? Feathers do get ruffled, man. But here, let me tell you one thing, James. I mean it all in love, dude. And you know what I also know? I also know that guys who are willing to say this stuff are very, very limited. You know, that's my value to the marketplace. My value to the marketplace is I'm not scared of any last one of you. I'm not scared of you leaving. My girl knows that too. I ain't scared of her leaving either. That's why she'll never leave. Because she knows I got it. So like when you're abundant, let me tell you something. This is a hard concept to understand. When you're abundant and what that means is that I don't believe that what that means is I always believe there's another bus coming. I don't believe that anyone can wield their leaving me, right? Probably comes from some of the trauma I dealt with in my divorce situation where it just totally destroyed my life. Everything was hinged from music industry contacts to all this other stuff that I was working on. It was all hinged on this one hinge. Well, that was a dumb idea. You should have had a bunch of hinges. So if one fails, well, I got 6 more. Problem is, it was all on one hinge. And so what that taught me is that I have to diversify. I have to build to where I know that there's not just one bus. And that goes for leads in your business, right? I'm not scarce with them. This is the price. I want to work for you. I want to do an excellent job for you. I do. But I'm not going to clamor for you. I'm not going to grovel for you. I'm not going to prove myself to you. I don't abdicate to anyone. Okay. And that'll ruffle some feathers. People think, well, you should bend a knee. Well, I don't bend knees. Okay. So that's the end of that. I don't bend the knee to anybody. And that's probably the reason I could have never been. My brothers were in the military. I thought about going in the military when I was younger. I'm a little too ornery. Like, I'm pretty outspoken about it. And if I ever feel like I can do someone's job better than them, but they're being paid more than me, and they have a higher status because they've been here longer. Some of you guys have been in the military, once you get in there, there's some guys who are being paid more than you who shouldn't be. They've just been there longer. I have a problem with that. I'm very results driven. That's how I believe in compensation. If a guy gets results, if he brings something to the table that is a linchpin, if he knows marketing really well, he knows how to orchestrate this really well, whatever he brings to the table, if it's a linchpin, pay him the most. But I don't care the guy who's been chilling out here the longest. Like, yeah, you stuck around, but I need results, right? You the man, brother. Oh yeah, Wu Ten, don't be flashing them up here. Don't be flashing that around. God will provide, dude. That's one thing that I've taken very seriously over the last couple years, is to take action. And that's why I always say bet on yourself. Bet on yourself, because that is the story of the talents. The most underpreached parable in the Bible. I wish more pastors would lean on this, but the problem is, if they would preach the parable of the talents and the master and the three individuals who the master gave the talents to, then it would expose 90% of their congregations, because time either promotes you or it exposes you. Time either promotes you or it exposes you. And if you expose the congregation and you alienate most of them and they feel a certain kind of way, yes, you will get a small group of devout followers who come back, but the majority, the church needs a little bit from everyone. And that's the biggest problem with a lot of churches, is that they're trying to get tithes by stroking everyone and being really fluffy and using guilt in other ways. See, they want to make you feel guilty. The best way that Satan ever infiltrated the church, and he is there completely right now, I will tell you, is by making you feel guilty for getting rich. All the greatest men of the Bible were rich. Abraham, y'all should Google this. This is something I've talked about before. Go Google how rich was Job. How rich was Solomon? A lot of people know that. How rich was David? Oh, more than Solomon. How rich was Abraham? You know why God chose those people? Because who else would he have chosen? He had to have people with money to further the kingdom, because he knew that they could further the kingdom farther than someone without the means. And so that's what I wish. I wish, when you're talking about rolling the dice and let God sort it out, roll the dice, bet on yourself, because that's what God would want. I believe that. It's a different message. It's a different message than most churches are ever going to preach. And they chastise my message. I'm sure they would, because they want to alienate people against the money. And it's a brilliant propaganda scheme that the devil has orchestrated. It's brilliant, dude. I mean, it's so seamless. It's so good. Make everyone feel guilty for making money. Money ain't everything. Now we're going to take up tithes and offering. I'll be down. Like, okay, we'll shut down all the tithes of money and everything. Well, we ain't going to do that now. So if we can acknowledge the double standard, right? We ain't going to shut down the tithes. But then why are we preaching this sermon of lack? Why are we preaching a sermon of guilt? Why don't we preach a sermon of not just prosperity, maybe prosperity in the element of work, in the element of accountability? Yes, you can have prosperity, and God wants that. Okay, God would prefer that, for you to apply your. It's odd they're called talents. I love that. For you to apply your God-given talents to where you can have more. Therefore, you can give more. Therefore, you can bless more. What if we started talking about personal accountability in that way as well? So go get rich, but also hold yourself to an extreme accountable standard that you never shake from. You don't owe, Cody and I were talking about this earlier, you don't owe your integrity to the customer. You owe your integrity to excellence of your craft on the job. That's something I've said for years. You don't owe your integrity to the customer. You owe your integrity to excellence of your craft, because a customer could be ever changing. Some customers are crazy. Believe me, about 15% of men and women on either side are on drugs, some type of drug. They take it every morning and every night, and it's prescribed. Believe it. And maybe a lot of people don't. They don't take it. So now they're nuts when you show up. No. I don't know my integrity of them. Crazy person. Person who wants a warranty on a pump they ran 12% on. You're crazy, bro. You're crazy. Get the hell out. No. Buy another one. Go make another 100,000. Or throw it in a ditch. Throw it in a ditch. Good to see you, Dog. Glad you're out working. There's an angle there. I don't know, James. I don't know if you are or aren't, but if you're in the inner circle, Terman's a guy you should talk to. Dewey actually does a lot of dumpster pad cleaning, and he's got a pretty good recurring group. Okay. Never has been. You know, it's amazing that God can create the heavens and the earth, and this thing, it's a burning orb called the sun. But yet so many people lack any belief in themselves. Like so little. They think that $300, $400, $500 is a lot of money. You got to get that out of your mind. How is it ever not going to be a lot of money if you keep thinking it's a lot of money? I've got to get you to start thinking in terms of $10,000 is not a lot of money. Because once the day you can get there, you're going to sell like that. You're going to sell like the job you're doing is worth $5K, is worth $20K, is worth $30K. But if your knees are shaking, you'll never be able to close that deal. You think it's a lot. That's the problem. You think it's a lot. Don't think it's a lot. It's not. There's a lot of people out there with a lot more than that. There's a lot of companies who are ready to give you $100,000 to clean their property. They're around. Some of y'all can't believe that. And some of y'all go out and make that and then want to complain about a $300 pump or a $1,000 pump. Right? Get your shit together. Get your mind right. You're damn right. 30K. Look, and every few years, let that rig become the backup rig. Get you another rig, dude. Build the business in terms of thinking about these things flippantly. You're not being stupid. You're not being stupid with your money. But you can't become romantic about the tangible mechanical. It's a utensil. It's a consumable. In 3 years, throw it in a ditch. Go get another one. Go make another. In 3 years, if you're a one truck guy and you're cranking, 3 years, you can make close to $1 million if you're cranking with a one truck. You could do that. You could do that for sure. For sure. Is a $30,000 rig a lot in terms of $1 million in revenue? No. And you write off the whole thing. So you know what? Take the old one eventually, figuratively. I'm joking, but kind of. Throw it in the ditch. See? This is what I see all the time. I see this all the time. $300 pump, made 10K with it. You know what you ought to do? I wish pumps fell off in the road after they knew you have accumulated a certain amount of cash. Pumps like, oh, well, you made 10K, bloop, falls in a ditch. Got to put another one on. It's like a Lego block. It's a consumable. You take the old one and throw it in the ditch, as Matt Policino, my boy, Matt Dog, in the house. We're doing the Lord's work today, Matt. Aaron, I could go very big with this if I just really wanted to. Hire some crews. Hey, and that's okay, dude. I love that you're making your own way about it. I'm sure you can with the way you've, shown me how you think. I believe you could go big. And I think a lot of guys could do that if they wanted to. I'm like you in that I have other things I wanted to invest in. I didn't want a lot of crews. See, I didn't want to, because here's the thing. I want you guys to understand something. If you're going to start adding 2, 3, 4 crews onto your business, okay, if you're gonna start adding that, you have to understand that all doesn't happen in a year. You'll probably get another crew this year. If you're cranking, you'll get another crew, but the marketing has to equal the crew. A lot of guys don't understand that. So you got to essentially double the marketing spend, essentially, to cover the crew. Well, you get another crew, you got to triple the marketing spend, right? And then there's going to be a point in time where you have a big list that you can start pumping. So you might not have to triple. You'll just have to kind of incrementally keep pushing the marketing spend. But that's essentially how it's going to be. Marketing spend, crew. Marketing spend, crew. Because you got to be able to fulfill those guys. Now you have guys living off of your dime. They're paying their bills. Their family's eating off of your marketing. Their kids are wearing the shoes that your marketing has brought in. Think of that. That's heavy. All right. So understand that the lean and mean way is the way that I chose, and it's not right or wrong. It's just the way that I chose. Ben Wilson's a perfect example of that. James Dewey, right? But what you got to do with the lean and mean way is you got to be very cognizant of where you spend the overage. Okay. You got to stay high ticket. All right. You got to stay in that realm of high ticket pricing, collect those big checks, move up in the world, start getting recurring big checks. But you got to take that overage of money. You're not living on all the overage of the money. You're not living on the profit. You live on a little portion of the profit, and the rest goes into that other venture that you're going to try to create passive income for yourself. Okay. You can't just spend it all. Otherwise, you're going to be basically running a job forever. And that's what a lot of the guys with a bunch of trucks sell against the lean and mean way to get off of the truck, right? That's fine. But to saddle up and get off the truck and start building crews, multiple crews, you're starting to look at a 10-year, 5-year, 10-year game. 5-year, probably 10-year game. How long do you want to be talking about gutter brightening? That's a conversation you need to have with yourself. Let's say the punks. Man, this chump change comparison to gross, replace the whole rig a couple times. Yeah, but the pump criers, dude, I don't understand it. It's just what it is, man. It comes from a very poor mentality, an impoverished mentality, and they believe me, they are offended as hell when you tell them that. But it's just out of love, dude. Like, this is all consumable. Think in terms of your rig as like consumable, but they've never thought of it that way. They think in terms of like, well, daddy's tools, I kept them for daddy worked with them tools in the 20s and I got his snap-on tools and I'm going to bequeath them to my son. And it's like tools are going to live forever. No, We're spraying bleach. It eats everything. Everything. There is nothing impervious to bleach. Nothing. You're thinking, well, there's some no. You leave plastic in there long enough, certain PVCs, certain things like that, it's going to make it very brittle. Okay. You'll be able to crush it. It eats everything. It's salt, right? Salt water eats everything, basically. It's very concentrated sodium hypochlorite. So it's going to eat everything. So just think of stuff like that. Hey, this is going to be a barnacle in 2 or 3 years. Let's dump it in a ditch. Matt says he's bought all the courses. I got to say, I haven't ever gotten an ROI like that. Highly recommend One Truck Big Profits, lean and mean for life. My dog. Drop that link for others here. My first year made 48K, second year 92. Now I'm on track to do well over 180. Bro, people, that's huge. And you're probably are using the same rig and you're making 180K. So you spent 30K one time, or you may have had another starter rig early on and then you bought your rig. James, fill me in there. Tell me exactly how that worked. That's crazy. Like, you can't get this ROI in the S&P 500. Go on and lock down. If you had 180K cash, you put it, just say 200K cash, you put it in the S&P. S&P gives you 10%. So you made 20K that year. Okay. Happy birthday. But you know the problem with this? The problem with this is that it's kind of a rich man's game, in that if you take out your 200K to invest, you're getting 10% on whatever is left. If you take out all 200, well, your 20K a year disappears. You got to keep it invested and tied up and locked up in order for it to make money. But when you have a business, see, the ROI comes heavy. The ROI comes quick. Yes, it does involve more work. It's not passive. Okay. It involves work, but you're going to be working either way. There is no passive income. You're going to be working. I will add a crew when I hit $500,000 a year alone. Off power, I believe you can do $500,000 a year alone. You're one of the only ones, I believe. What's your take on having a part-time admin to help with billing, invoicing, scheduling? I think that can help, Matt. I think, frankly, that's like a 2-3 truck situation, because our tickets in this world are so high. Our tickets are so high. Our ROI in this pressure washing world is so high. It's not like landscaping, right? Where you got landscaping, you got 150 customers that are $50 a pop on the schedule every month or more, right? In our world, you have like 30 to 40 customers as a lean and mean guy, and they're all $1,000 a pop. And so 30 to 40 is not even 2 a day. So it's not a super big issue with billing, right? You just come home and you go to the CRM and you go send, or you collect it while you're there, right? It's very easy invoicing. Scheduling is pretty easy as well, because the ROI, the tickets are very big. The margin is huge. So the tickets being the size they are allows us to have a lower amount of customers. Now, if you're into commercial, right, where you're having a lot of dumpster pad cleanings, a lot of recurring commercial, Dewey does a lot of this stuff where it's like you're hitting them every quarter or every month. You know, if you've got 40 of those, like a Mike Turman dude, where he's doing stuff for Amazon, he's cleaning trucks, he's cleaning windows at restaurants, he's cleaning patio areas, and you know, in the restaurants, you know, all these different franchises that reach out to him. I think that might be a time to help with some billing, invoicing, and scheduling, hiring a part-time admin. But a lot of times with the part-time admin, I don't really know that you can outsource that heavily. You might have to just hire that outright in the US. I don't know that you could outsource that to a virtual assistant, simply because they have to know the dynamic of the business. I'm guessing you could, but it would take a lot of training. One thing I've learned of outsourcing overseas on some stuff is that you start to have to train almost to the point where you might as well do that shit yourself. You're just like, well, shit. I mean, why don't I just go press the button? If I got to keep teaching you how to do this, you know? So you definitely get what you pay for when it comes to part-time admin. But I guess it could work. I think, Matt, if you want to be hands off and have somebody run it, then definitely do that. But a lot of guys aren't hands off. Dude had the same rig. So James Bass is going to make 180, 92. That's about 280. Over $300,000 with a $30,000 rig. Guys, call Southeast Soft Wash today and go buy a Gen 2 skid right now. James is going to make over $300,000 with a $30,000 investment. There is not an investment on the planet right now that you're going to find for starting a business. Go on. Go try to find it. Go try to. You ain't going to find it. You know why? Because you're going to buy $12,000. I haven't looked at lawnmowers in a while. You're going to go buy a $12,000 mower. Okay. That's probably cheap. And you're going to go schedule an $60 lawn cut. You know how many $60 lawns you got to cut to just make $12,000? It's a lot. All right. So, see, Matt, you must have come in late because that's pretty much my MO. That's like, yeah, I don't sell the equipment. I'm pretty much a job getter. And that's very apparent. Just because you have the equipment doesn't mean you can get the jobs. Yeah. The point is, I'm a marketer. Like that's what I talk about, is getting the jobs. So, but we're talking about a guy who made over $300,000 with a $30,000 piece of equipment. And so, if you got the need, if you've got the balls to go out and knock at the worst case scenario, you can get the jobs. You can. See, that's another thing. I'm going to address this and then I'm going to cut out because I'm going on 52 minutes right now. And keeping good time. He's going to do a $48,000 single commercial job. Now, what separates James from the new guy getting started? Probably just some hustle, right? James definitely has knowledge. He's definitely worked his way through it. This is his third year. He's doing great. Like he's crushing it. He's going to be prepared for this job. He seems like a very diligent guy. I don't know James, but James has come on my lives enough to where I've gotten a vibe about him that he handles his business. Okay. And a lot of guys on here do. Hoffpower, Woo, Terman, bro, right? Like Terman's going to do $1 million this year. So I don't know what anybody else needs to talk about, right? Terman's going to do a 7-figure year. But speaking on kind of what was said here, right? Matt said this. Just because you have the equipment don't mean you can get the jobs. Yes, but the equipment is so cheap when it comes down to it. The ROI on the equipment is so heavy. The margins are so heavy. It makes the equipment almost obsolete. I can't believe the equipment's that cheap. Can you go buy a bulldozer? Let me ask you a question. How much is a new bulldozer? How much is Hoffpower? You know how much a bulldozer is? You seem like a guy who knows how much a bulldozer is. A bulldozer probably what? 200,000? A new one? I bet you can get a used one for like what? 150? He say small ones around 150, right? So what do you have to do? All right, so you got the bulldozer. You want to go make ponds, right? Right. 150, 250. All right. So you're gonna go dig ponds. I don't know how much those cost. What? Probably 10K, 15K to go dig a pond for somebody at their house. So first off, we got $150,000 bulldozer. We got to get a big some trailer. Shit, that trailer's probably 30, 40K, right? To haul a bulldozer? Gotta be something like that. And what are you gonna pull it with? A tractor trailer? Right? Shit, bro. You've got $500,000 round there just to go do a $15,000 job. Now you're gonna get bigger jobs, hopefully. You'll get $50,000, $100,000 jobs. That's the plan. I'm not talking about the plan. I'm talking about what equipment do you know of besides pressure washing that today you buy a how to wash course, maybe you take an in-person training, say you got $1,500 invested, right? Training in person, how to wash course. You go buy a $30,000 piece of equipment, you put it in the back of the truck, and you go make $2,000 today on a roof cleaning. I don't know that it exists. I've thought about this. He said, he said, yeah, and it better not break because that's a whole nother story. See, there is no like $300 soft wash pump on a dozer. Think about that call. Think about the think about the warranty call that we receive. Well, my $300 pump, it done went bad and I need a new one. What? $300? That's not even my monthly cigar allotment. Stop playing. What I'm saying is you're hobbying mentally. Stop hobbying. Don't hobby mentally, man. Don't allow yourself to do that. It lowers your own self-esteem. You cut your own wrist. Don't do that. Throw it in the ditch. Practice this. This is something I had to do. I had to burn this out of me by investing in myself so heavily, writing checks, because I knew that if I didn't write these checks, the country, the bumpkin would rear its ugly head. I could see it. It's over here. The bumpkin says, that's too expensive. And I said, go to hell. And I'd write the check and I'd invest in myself and whatever it was, you know, batch buster, you're talking about probably, I don't know, probably 80,000 from me, right? Write the check, for fear of the bumpkin showing back up. My own bumpkin, my own raising. I'm scared of it. So I write the check. I'm running from it by investing in myself. And the damnest thing is what happens when you invest in yourself, you make more money. It's wild as hell. It's crazy. He said dozer breaks major. It costs the same as a whole rig. Now, right, the dozer, and you got to know how to run the dozer. You got to spend whose yard you digging up. Like, whose yard do you practice on? I'm sure some of you guys like work for construction companies. So how many years are you like learning how to drive the dozer on somebody else's dime? You know? Like, think about that when it comes to soft washing. You get a rig, you go train. Yeah, you may kill somebody's plants or something like right off the bat, but in about 6 months, you kind of figure it out. You know what I mean? Like you figure like a dozer, you don't just buy a dozer and mess around. Whose yard you messing around in? Your own? Can you imagine? Just ripping up the sod in your parents' yard. I'm practicing. I'm practicing running this thing. Like that doesn't exist, guys. The opportunity in front of you is incredible. How cheap it is to get involved is incredible. And Mike Turman knows because he cleans them. That's right. That's right. Rent dozers, don't buy them. Also wash dozers instead of work with them. You'll make more money. Wash them, baby, because them boys are paying y'all. Hot mini crowd, 12-volt pump. But how often you hear gas pump barf owner cry next year going to be fun? That super pump putting them all to shame. Oh, dude, there's a whole group on Facebook of gas pump tears, which that will be a great group to start. The gas pump graveyard, right? Because those guys buy them gas pumps, dude. And they like the guy who sells a lot of them, he even admits that they're shit. Like he put out a video, he was like, "Nah, they're finicky. They mess up all the time. You got to have a whole schematic." Well, the guys are buying them for performance, right? They're buying the performance. Well, the Super Pump just shot 5 stories on film, multiple angles, no camera tricks now. 5 stories on film. So the performance at 16 gallons a minute, the Super Pump is max GPM is 16. It's a game changer for the industry. And why was it engineered that way? It was engineered with that as the standard. That isn't some number that it just fell out. No, no, no. Like we would take the whole project from the skunk team, and you guys know, throw it in a ditch. I literally told the skunks on a call, I said, "Look, I will scrap," and we're probably 150 in. I said, "I will throw this entire project in a ditch if it can't get me this." Do you understand what I'm saying? It was specifically made to do what it is doing. There's nothing else like it in the world. And I wish I could see the Alibaba searches of guys trying to think that there's something else like this on the planet. No, it's not. There's nothing. It is a completely Formula One custom. It is it's it's its own entity on the planet. There isn't anything else like it. All the way down to the motor. There's nothing like it. With that torque spec and that speed spec, I'm not talking to you about it. But I'll tell you one thing. It's custom and it's specifically made for what it's doing. There's a lot of thought that's gone into this. And it was specifically targeted at that. It was specifically targeted at giving guys the power that they really wanted. They wanted that performance and removing all of the finickiness of the gas system because the gas systems were never meant to do what they're doing. They were meant to spray like Roundup or like pesticides, or they're meant to spray a batch mix of something. They're not meant to run off a blend manifold. That's why you see these guys have these oblong, 25-foot radiator hoses on them running all through the damn, because it's not meant to do what it's doing. It's not meant to handle bleach. It's not meant for you to let off the trigger for very long, or it'll want to explode, or it'll pump the freaking that regulator will pump into that damn gauge and like I mean, if you guys should kind of look into this on like the gas pump horrors. But we've seen it for so long, and those guys, they swore by them. They built shrines for these things, and the guy that made them popular just came on and was like, "No, they are kind of trash." which was a wild thing to say, but it happened. And I'm glad it happened because we knew it all along. Everybody knew it all along. Everybody knew. But for some reason, guys couldn't find that performance anywhere else. So they went there. Well, now there's a new thing. Now there's something else. And it's called the Super Pump. And look, I realize that even though the Super Pump is amazing, even though the Super Pump gives you all the performance and none of the headaches, I realize there's a good population of prideful individuals who still will never switch to the Super Pump. And to that, I tell them, continue with your Legos. I will mail them an AR-45 schematic they can post on their wall with all of the little pieces and parts that they're going to have to buy. And then there's always going to be the guy who says, well, I've had my 84-45 for 2 years and I ain't had a damn problem. Okay. I don't know why there's an allegiance. I really don't, because Ariro, or however you say it, Reverby, doesn't give a damn about you. But some reason you give a damn about it, and I think it's a personal thing. I think it's a personal thing. I think if it was anybody else who invented it, guys would be, frothing at the mouth. But the fact that I'm not hiding it, or I'm not like, how do I say this? I'm not self-deprecating about the product. Like, I believe in the product. I push the product. I talk good about my product, right? I'm not going to tell you that it's not great. No, it's engineered to be great. And I'm not one of those guys who deprecates at all. I don't believe in self-deprecation. See, I don't believe in not touting your service. I don't believe in not walking tall with your chest out. I believe in doing that. That's the point. The point is to win. You see? And so it's fine. He said, Hoffbauer said he had a gas pump once and it almost lasted the whole job. Hey, and while it was going, while it was running, it was badass. But, after it explodes and the rebuild time, I had a guy one time, I was reading his little column. I was reading a guy, his little post, whatever. And he was saying that he'd been down for 9 days waiting on parts for his gas pump. 9 days. Do you know what that means? Nine days? James, how much is 9 days worth? Hoffpower, how much is 9 days worth of business worth? How many pumps could you buy brand new? Throw them in a ditch. Throw them in a ditch. Throw them in a ditch. Brandon, throw it in a ditch. 9 days? Terman, how much is 9 days worth? 9 days, man. That's a lot of money to be waiting. $125K. So is it worth that finickiness? And you're right, dude. It's an ego thing. James, I will tell you, they don't want to admit they made a mistake, and that's okay. That's not my issue with it, because all of us have trouble admitting we make mistakes. I think it's a personal thing. I think they, I get it. They don't want to. I think it's a thing where they can't fathom that. They can't fathom the marketing guy is like pedigree kind of engineer. I have those on both sides of my family. They can't fathom that I'm a part of that. I think that's an issue. And I also think that Cody is just like no BS with anybody, and he makes excellent equipment. And so that's hard for guys to swallow, because they don't want a guy like that to win. They don't want that to win. They want a guy who's going to coddle them, who's going to cuck for them, who's going to answer every single question they have on the phone. That's what they want. They want that guy who doesn't really believe in his product, who doesn't stand by it, but he'll honor it if they want to call in 7 warranty calls. See, we told guys with the super pump, look, there ain't no warranty. Not a warranty in sight. There ain't one. Look under rocks, look under your Panerais, look under whatever. Ain't a damn warranty. Okay. Why? Here's why. Because guys are going to do the same thing that they do at Harbor Freight and at Tractor Supply. They're just going to take it back. You know how much user error calls that come in every day? User error. See? 9 days, a lot of money. 137. User error is 99% of the calls. We've had guys call in that say the pump isn't working. They call in. This ain't the super pump because it ain't out yet. It's on pre-order. But it's just a pump. They say my soft wash pump ain't working. And we go, okay, well, we'll go turn the pump on. And we're listening on the phone. And you start hearing the pressure washer crank up. No, not that pump. Not that one. The other switch. Oh. Then we have one guy. He goes, my pump ain't working. Calls in. And this is why we don't take calls anymore. Because this is all it is all day long. All day. All day. And none of them think it's them. They've never thought it was them. That's wild, isn't it? That's wild, James. Isn't it wild? No, this is real. One guy said, my pump ain't working. He said, it'll turn on, but it ain't pumping nothing. Sooner or later, 30 minutes into the call, it's hard to think of this stuff. We go, well, check the tank. He goes, oh, it ain't got no water in it. This is not like, I'm not telling you anomalies. I'm telling you kind of the norm. I have so many of these, I've forgotten them. I have so many I've forgotten. It's insane. And it's never their fault, but they've wasted 30 minutes or an hour of your time. It's like, no, when you're in this business, and we were at one of the conventions and we said it was wild because we had a booth and I had the Hummer there. Cody had the Defender there. We had all the cool stuff there. It was fun unveiling the super pump. Right. And we had some of the bigger players, some of the guys that we love, the bigger players in as far as production and as far as websites. And you guys know these people. I'm not going to mention them because I'm not going to put them because I like them. They came up to us. They go, dude, the way y'all handle customers, we love it. And you know what they said? They said, we wish we could do that. Cody and I looked at each other. We were like, well, the damnedest thing is you can. See, all it is just being daddy. It's being daddy. And nobody likes to be spanked by daddy. But you turn 30, you look back when you got spanked when you were young, you're like, I probably needed that shit. I probably was acting a fool. I appreciate that. I appreciate you spanking me. But in the moment, you think it's the worst thing ever. You're terrible. You don't love me. You don't love me. Right? But that's the stance. And that could be a piece of it, James. Could be a piece. Is because we've taken daddy role. And even the other suppliers know that we've taken daddy role. And that's fine. We'll lean into the daddy role. And some people won't be able to take it. Some of you guys out there won't never need it because y'all are crushing it. Y'all own your shit. Y'all are like, and believe me, we know if it's a real issue, right? We know if it's a real issue or if somebody's like, get them on the phone and they know. What's up, Reggie, my man? Half power. Empty tanks and air leaks put an idiot out of bed, bro. But you know what's wild, Half power? He swears it's your fault. Oh, I'm talking about the hubris in his voice. He swears it's a pump. I'm gonna need a warranty on it. Yep, I'm gonna need a damn warranty. Cause I reckon what y'all build is bullshit. I do reckon. Like, dude, swearing. It's wild. There's not a question that he could be dumb. That's what's crazy to me. And that's what kind of brought that on. And guys, look, guys don't like it. Guys leave. Good. This is going to be, we're not dependent on that. What we're about to do is way, way, way bigger than a Facebook group. It's way bigger than a Facebook group, dude. Oh. Like the dudes at the concert that my pressure washer money bought me that rolled up. You're like, bro, you in my seat. Turns out they in the wrong section. Bro, you got his drinks. Hey, bro, I think you're in my seat. Well, check your ticket, you dumbass. That's it, dude. Old MAGA country, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Phone a friend, Jay. He goes, I agree. Early on, I developed early. Took me 4 days. Hey, look. Hey, and that's okay though, right? You figured it out. But the wild thing is a lot of people, man, they want to accuse the builder. The cool thing about Cody, he already knows all that stuff's filmed. All the pieces are filmed. Everything is filmed. Working, running. See, you ain't never going like he's Cody has so many redundancies of 3D and 4D chess built in. You're not going to come in with some stupidity because all of that's been documented. See? And look, you know why you had to do that? Because if you don't do that and you're not that diligent, then even if you're right, you're wrong. That's one thing my dad taught me early on. He bought me a guitar when I was 19, kind of started me down that road. You know, had a middle brother. He turns 5, Pierce. He's got soft washers now. He turns 5, 6 years old. What does 6-year-old boy do? He jumps on everything. Pierce is power bombing, DDT, and like he's 6 years old, man. Pierce will DDT anything that ain't bolted down. All right, and me, I'm 4 years older than him, so that's kind of frustrating because I'm trying to play my little guitar and I still suck. But Pierce, he comes bouncing, shit, boom, and he just DDTs right on top of my guitar. And this is a critical moment for me because it hurt me. I was like, what are you doing? And Dad said, yep, you should have put it up. I go, what do you mean? He just, from the top rope, DDT'd my guitar. He goes, you should have put it in your room. I go, but it's his fault. He DDT'd it. He people's elbowed it. He goes, no, it's not his fault. It's your fault. You didn't put it up. If you don't want it to be power bombed by your little brother, then you need to put it in a safe place. I said, personal accountability. I'll be damned. It was my fault. My brother DDT'd my guitar. So you know what I did every now after that? Every time I saw his little bouncing ass coming down the hallway, I'd take that guitar, I'd go put it in the room. I go hide it somewhere, bro. You're not power bombing my shit. You're not stone cold stunning my new little guitar. And it never happened again. But that's a similar thing when it comes to your equipment, right? Guess whose fault it is that you don't know? It's your fault you don't know. It's not the equipment builder, whoever they may be. Could be Cody, could be somebody else. It's not their fault. It's your fault. So when you buy a piece of equipment from anyone, guess whose responsibility it is? It's yours. Now you get to learn. You buy a gas system. Now you get to learn how to troubleshoot that batch of Legos. Okay. What would Top G say about you not knowing? I don't know. What would he say, man? Now you get to go. It's your fault. It's absolutely your fault. And that's okay. Because as long as oh, that's a good one. Got an air gap between the ears. Got an air leak. You see? Start taking accountability. Teach your sons this. Teach your sons that if their toys get broken, it's their fault. They didn't put them up. You can even go as far as if you've told them to put them up and they don't, you start bulldozing, cleaning house, throwing shit away. And if it gets thrown away, whose fault is it? Well, then whose room should it be in? I'll be damned. Personal accountability. Allow your son to dress himself if he's of age. He's 6, 7, 8 years old. It's time for him to dress himself. It's time for him to start making his own food. It's time for him to start learning how to do some of these things, to get ready for school on his own. Look at that. Stole a spare tire. Well, he was probably going to trade the spare tire in. It was one of them dudes. They probably going to trade the spare tire in to get a one of those Everflow pumps from Tractor Supply. And he was going to get that. He was going to run 12% through that pump after he got that. Then he's going to take it back to Tractor Supply and get a refund. What up, Palm Tree? All right, boys. Hey, it's about getting that time. I love you. I appreciate you. I do these lives from time to time. We come on here, and I love talking to you, and I appreciate you guys. And I think that personal accountability is it. AP's still here. I'm still going to keep innovating. I'm still going to keep kicking everyone's ass. The beatings will continue until morale improves. I will tell you that. For anyone out there who is maybe doubting the skunk team in any facet, I want to let you know the beatings shall continue. This is just the beginning of the skunk era. Coming soon, we're going to have a big free event at Southeast Softwash. It's going to be a free event. We'll probably have, don't quote me on this one, but we'll probably have lunch provided. Big free event, big hang. It's going to be something very, very cool. And I think you guys are going to be interested in coming for the day. Probably going to be in November coming up. I can't quite tell you exactly what we're going to be doing, but there are going to be some races involved on motorized vehicles that I think some of you guys are going to really want to partake in. We're going to call it the skunk, something along this line, the skunk triple crown. It's it's going to be awesome. I can't give you any more details than that. But if you're one of those kind of guys like me who grew up in the country and likes to race and kick ass, and you like Bobby Labonte, and you like Darrell Waltrip, and you like Bill Elliott, and you like Dale Sr., and you like who else? Mark Martin, and you like Terry Labonte, Bobby Labonte, go down the list. This is going to be something you want to tune into coming up, okay? I will see you guys in the next one. Dewey got a 55-gallon drum. A whoop ass, you got dang right, boy. I'll see y'all.